Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Khabri, Curious Harry and Arun Foot. I'm Rahul, with me are Arunava and Hiren. Yeah guys, we had an important ISL game today. Had this gone one way or the other, it would have been really interesting, but in the end it was a one-all draw. So this is how the table looks now. Odisha they sit top, 31 points, 28 points. Goa second, but they've played 3 games fewer. I'll just come to you. Do you think Odisha needed the win in this game a little more and they had to get a win from this?
Yeah, warm good evening to everyone. Yes, I think Odisha needed the win more because being you are 3 points ahead, but the opponent has 3 matches to play,
Yeah.
and Odisha just need a win and a draw, and can even concede a loss, and they'll be ahead of. Goa will need a win and a draw, and you can even get a loss, and then they're ahead of them, right?
Yeah.
So for me, Odisha needed it more, but it was again a very tactical game. You saw how Manolo Marquez tried to sort of block out Sergio Beira's sort of attacking, marauding team, I would say. They've really marauded through the ISL sometimes in the last 2 weeks, or even the AFC Cup. And sometimes they were lucky. They got away. That Isaac Ralte's shot, I think, deserved a goal. But on the other side, yeah, as I've been saying, with the teams between 6 and 11, that a lot of draws will be there in between, and it seems like it's the same sort of situation now at the top as well, which even leaves it, such a draw leaves the door even still open for Mumbai City and Mohun Bagan. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably beneficial for the teams that are chasing now. The Blasters will sort of feel much better. They're 2 points behind, but now they're only one game ahead of Goa, and then you've got Mumbai, who again played 12 and they're 22 points. So I'm sure the teams are a little below Goa will feel much better after this draw. Hiren, on the game at least, what do you make of it? And you think draw was a fair result in the end?
First of all, hello to everyone. And yes, I think a fair result would have been a draw. And I think my prediction was also a 2-2 draw because I think, as sir mentioned rightly, I think it was a more tactical game. And when two quality side meets, I think that was the case. And I think defensively, FC Goa were really solid after that early concede the goal. And I think they really well defended in terms of the blocking, you can say Odisha FC's chances. But I think what a goal from Jay Gupta. I think incredible to see a goal from an Indian player, particularly. We often not seen this kind of a goal from Indian player. So it's a beautiful goal from him, and I think overall very good match in terms of the quality wise. I would say. I would have, you can say, expected a little bit more intensity, but that's how it is. And I think some of the players stand out for Odisha FC also. I think Delgado in defense, that crucial header. I think he open header miss, or you can say chance missed. That was a really crucial chance for Odisha FC. Emma Jau, as usual, has been brilliant. Frontline Isaac, that shot hit the post. Otherwise, that would be also a beautiful goal from another Indian. So these are the couple of chances for Odisha FC. If you see for FC Go, I think they also have some really important chances. But I think advantage to FC Go after this draw. I think if they lose this match, then they are bit, you can say, under a lot of pressure. But I think now they can be comfortably their 3 matches you can say कि जो है उससे वो cover up कर सकते हैं. And I think they are still unbeaten in the ISL. So there's an incredible, you can say, streak for them also. But overall, a very quality game.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I know we'll talk about this Jay Gupta goal because it does deserve talking about. But how many points would be enough to get the Shield this year, or no?
It depends on the next few weeks on how many draws we see, right? I mean, the teams are Odisha already have crossed the 30 mark. Goa will in the next few matches. So that would mean that it's about another 20 points to reach that 50-52 mark. Yes, I think that could be possible. But again, I think it really depends on how many draws we see in that second leg. And from that perspective, it could be 48, but it could also maybe go to up to 55. So both of these are possible. So I think that would be my range. If I take the range a little bigger, between 48 and 55. 55 would be really a top season. I think Goa would have to win most of their matches now, but I think that's still doable.
Okay. Goa's playing clean football, says Rahul Raj. But so have they been. I think for the most part of the season, they played really well. They played some nice stuff. Yeah,
I
Hiren,
would I would I would rather say today, yes, clean football. They play a nice brand of football, but they played strategic and tactical today, right? They knew that they have to absorb the pressure from Odisha. And Manolo knows, looking at the points table, I am not in a position that I have to win matches.
yeah.
I can live with a 1-1. It's the same thing that he did against Mumbai City when they drew goalless in Goa, right? So let's see.
Yeah. Icon alone saying, I don't understand why Stimash doesn't play. Brandon, on Brandon Hiren, I know he's been impressive. As he was really good in the last game as well, and he shows his quality. But I still feel like I'm not too sure whether he would have made a difference, or I don't think he deserved a start per se in the national team. Do you think so?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
If you don't have a Sahal, then I think this that would be my first choice as attacking midfielder, because whenever he gets the chance in AFC Asian Cup, he in a sense you can say you get sense ki India is uh, onto something in terms of the attacking front. Otherwise, we are totally on a, you can say defensive front. I think one of the through ball he created, one of the first corner for us he created. So I think he made that impact, and he is a quality player. I think few of the quality players, which you can say rather than bringing a Trevor Simpler, he is you can say our trusted player in terms of the set pieces. So I think in that sense, definitely if Sahal Abdul Samad is not fit, and want to go with you can say a little bit attacking minded midfielder, then I think Brandon for me still now is the first choice.
Yeah. I don't know. You agree on Brandon? Would you have started him in the Asian Cup? In hindsight, I know it's easy. It's an easy
No,
conversation in hindsight, but yeah.
no, I don't agree on that. I think the way we were set up, to me, to have a player like Brandon in these kind of matches is luxury, right? So I have to understand that I want to avoid conceding goals. That's the thinking of Igor Stimac. To some extent, that was the same thinking of, if someone asked about Steven, the same thinking of Steven. And Brandon pre-tournament had not played that many matches. We should not forget he had quite a bit of an injuries, and that's the on and off with Brandon as well. So also we need to understand that the level of the players that they're playing ISL and then playing Asian Cup, that is like 2-3 divisions higher. And so for me is if you're trying to create that defensive solidity first, then most probably Deepak Tangri as a destroyer, and then using Suresh and Apuya in front of him is most probably in that combo the most best one to start. Brandon is for me a player you could bring in 60-65 minutes and then see what he can create on the counter. But to start with Brandon, again, even Sahal for me would be a question mark if I would start with the Sahal, because defensive duties are needed, and Brandon and Sahal are defensively not the best kind of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Hiren, on Jay Gupta's goal, I mean, is one of those typical left back outside the box sort of goals. You just come and you smash it into the far corner, and it was a good goal to watch. And are you guys excited about what you're seeing? These sort of goals are there in his locker.
I think he showed throughout this season that he can produce that magical moment. Last time when they faced in the first half against Odisha FC, that dying minute goal from him, get the 3 points for Odisha FC and get a 3-2 win. So he can produce a goal like this. He has the capabilities, and I think really exciting talent. Let's hope so he can continue with this form in this season and also in the upcoming season, because the consistency will be the key factor, and which most of the Indian players you can say not able to maintain it. So I have a really high hope from him, and I hope he will be very soon. Maybe you can say for a national team might be called up, but I think he has a quality, and if he continues like this, then definitely he has everything you can say in terms of the height, physicality, everything. I think shot taking ability, everything. I think is perfectly. So I think definitely I want to see he's doing much better. And today that was incredible goal, incredible from a player like Indian players ऐसे गोल मैंने जैसे बोला कि आईएसएल में कभी कभार ही हमें पूरे सीजन में अगर आप पूरे सीजन में पूरे जितने भी इंडियन प्लेयर्स ने गोल मारे हैं उसमें से आप के देख लोगे तो एक आध दो गोल ही ऐसे मिलेंगे कि जो इस तरह के जो स्क्रीमर होते हैं वो आपको देखने को मिलते हैं. सो in that sense, I think that's a till now for from Indian players, this is the best goal in this season.
Absolutely. Arnav, would you put it over Parthib's curlers as well? I think they're amongst there as well.
I would think they're amongst the best goals. If this is the best goal, it's amongst the top 3, top 5 certainly. And it shows that what he's capable of. And but again, we come back to that consistency thing with Jay Gupta. You saw that against Abdul Rabe against Hyderabad FC, where he struggled, massively struggled. And that is something for me that the players need to consistently do that. The good thing is that he has the confidence to try and score a goal like that. I think there's not many Indian footballers who would have the confidence as a left back to go in there and try and take a shot, and also have the technique to do it. I think that's the most important thing.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be interesting now because both teams, Odisha and FC Goa, I think they play their next game against Mohan Bagan, both of them. So, in a weird way, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Hiren, who do you think will sort of come out better after their respective games against Mohan Bagan?
I think it will be a tough challenge against Mohan Bagan, to be honest. I don't think so. It will be an easy game. And I think yesterday Manolo Marquez mentioned that top 5 team anyone can beat anyone, and anyone can as we earlier discussed, anyone can be still in the race for the shield. So I think that will be the competition this season. I don't think so. You can go with the clear favorites if you are on the tabletop. I think still there is a Mohan Bagan has some individual brilliance player, so they can hurt you. And I think. Antonio Hobas with his playing style and his football, I think will be really interesting or difficult. You can say thing for the FC Goa and Odisha FC to break that defense. But I think they are also struggling with a couple of their main player injured in defense. So I think it will be interesting. But I would say FC Goa and Odisha FC definitely will go with the more confidence compared to Mohan Bagan. And but मोहन बगान as I mentioned कि कुछ उनके पास ऐसे प्लेयर है कि जो यहाँ पे उनको मैच में यहाँ पे ला के रख सकते हैं. तो in a sense I think it will be a interesting
Yeah, I don't know if FC Goa win their game against Mohan Bagan and Odisha don't. Is that it? Is the title done there? Because then Mohan Bagan are also seemingly out of it.
It takes Mohan Bagan out, but the problem that FC Goa have is that when you are 2-3 matches behind and everybody assumes you're going to win all the matches.
That's
yeah. So again, 3 matches down doesn't mean that they're going to win all 3. So therefore, that's the danger. That's why I said if they can get 4, 5, 6 points out of those, then you're top. But if by any chance you, let's say, draw all 3, you win 1, you lose 2. You after 15 matches, you've got the same number of points, and you will play the Mohan Bagans, you will play Kerala Blasters, you have to still play Mumbai City. These are all matches where these teams will lose points, and there will be the odd one out against those 6 teams who are fighting for that 6th spot, where they could steal a point here or there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, guys, basically this was our sort of post-match review. We've also got 2 games tomorrow. Let's quickly discuss them before moving on to the Asian Cup. Hiren, Northeast East Bengal first at 5. Again, this battle for the 6th spot is just insane. But what are you expecting from this one, Hiren, Northeast and East Bengal?
Northeast and East Bengal will be a very, very interesting match, to be honest. No doubt, some of think that East Bengal is little bit favorite because of their form in the Super Cup and the confidence and the way they play in the derby also and everything. I think definitely, but I think Pedro Bellani is a very good tactician, and I think the signings they have made, some of the interesting signing, the Australian striker Juric, and you can say the Moroccan guy, and all of that I think will be interesting addition in the Northeast United side. So I think they can put up a very good fight, but I think I am also see little bit you can say advantage to East Bengal because of their squad and the current form they are coming up with.
Yeah, I'm praying for a draw. I'm just praying for a draw. Now, what do you think will happen here?
It's an interesting one because Benali and his side really need to step up. They looked very good at the start, and they're still living off those points that they earned in the first three matches, right? So I feel that they are under a certain level of pressure, and East Bengal are on a high, but again, that late equalizer from Petratos has taken a little bit of momentum out of them. Interesting will the big question Kolkata is, will Victor Vasquez start? Will he be on the bench? This and that and everything. So Carlos Crotat needs to get his team to focus because, as you say, a draw would be the ideal scenario for every other team in that pack, and that makes it so interesting at the moment. And I think that. I would go with a 1-1 most probably, because I think this is one of those games you'll have goals, maybe 1-1 rather than a 2-2. I'll go 1-1, and let's see how it goes.
Okay, Anava going for a draw. Hiren, draw for you, or is it a? Akash is saying is a Northeast win 2-1. I mean, that's what he wants.
For me also it will be a 1-1 draw.
Okay, 1-1 drops. I'm hoping for the same. I really wish it's a 1-1 draw, especially after BFC winning. We need some results to go our way. So yeah, Mohun Bagan Hyderabad is the other one. Where do you see this one going? Is it? I've been impressed by this young Hyderabad squad. They're not doing too much wrong.
Yeah, but it's not. Forget the young Hyderabad squad. I think Hyderabad this season overall, even before the foreigners left, they were not playing badly, but they haven't been able to get the results. I think that's their problem. Mohun Bagan will be interesting to see if they take that positivity from that late Petratos equalizer into this next game. Question is who all are injured, who all are back. I think that's the biggest question, because that then decides who's going to play in defense. But normally I would think that Mohun Bagan will win this and will be back in the title race.
Okay, yeah. Hiren?
I kind of also agree with that. Mohun Bagan are the favorites, but I think the youngster of Hyderabad FC can surprise you. So they have to be careful, because in Super Cup also they almost you can say pull out that match. So that will be the crucial thing for Hyderabad if they are expecting anything. They need to you can say hold up for a 90 minute. You can't just you can say put up a good fight for 50-60 minutes. You need to be good throughout the 90 minutes to win against Mohun Bagan. So I'm expecting a very interesting game, but I think definitely Mohun Bagan are the favorites.
Fair enough. Okay, Mohun Bagan. I think in majority to sort of win this game. Both of you have gone for Mohun Bagan wins. Moving to the AFC Asian Cup, guys. What a story we're having. It's an incredible story. Jordan in the final of the AFC Asian Cup. They beat South Korea in the semifinals, and it wasn't just a win. It was convincing at the end of the day. Had more opportunities, more shots on target. In the end, they won 2-0. They didn't concede. Has there been, Arnav, do you think there's been a better story in the Asian Cup than what we're seeing from Jordan here?
I mean, it's one of those games. If you go back to the group stage, Korea needed a late equalizer to draw Jordan, and somehow with all with the attacking potential. With the young Lee from PSG, Wang from Wolverhampton. You've got Heung-min Son over there from Tottenham. All the others who are there from all over the place in Europe. Similar to the Japanese, with those attacking options. It's something that they have to ask themselves. And even Heung-min Son did not have the best of tournaments in the sense where you say, listen, he showed his class. And what I liked about Jordan in this tournament was that they played together as a team. They fought, but also played football. I think the interesting part in that semi-final is they wanted playing football. Of course, they had much less of the ball, but it's a question of they couldn't get it together with all the class that they have. And Jordan are punching above their weight, but are doing whatever they can, and they're there on merit. They are in the final. It's an incredible story for a team ranked around where they are. And the interesting part is some people were actually showing that, in 2018, both Qatar and Jordan were ranked behind India, right? Again, I don't give much on the rankings because, again, even then we were not 97. Again, it's a joke. In 2018, we were certainly not better than Qatar. And even Jordan would have been a problem for us at that time. But it shows, what passion, what fighting spirit, what a team standing up for each other, what a federation backing the national team coach, what a federation doing the basics can create. These are all facts, simple things, actually, which are all working against Indian football at the moment, right? I mean, the AFF is trying to sell a narrative of, what the baby leagues are running. We've now called it the Blue Cup leagues and all that stuff. We under 17 is happening. This is happening. That is happening. But it's February, right? So as long as we don't do the basics right, for us to dream of something like this will be difficult because this Asian Cup has been about dreams. So therefore, Jordan getting that far, is a great one. I mean, Uzbekistan were very unlucky, in the quarters to lose to Qatar on penalties, and we've had a number of these interesting stories. Even if you look at Hong Kong, you look at Malaysia, Tajikistan, not to forget the mighty Tajikistan. We've had some great stories in this Asian Cup, and therefore it's great to see a team of the quality of Jordan reaching the finals, while the two top favorites of this tournament, Japan and Korea, are back home, and most of the players tomorrow will be playing in their respective European leagues.
Yep, absolutely crazy. Just to think that South Korea, Japan were out in the quarters. South Korea have not been great. They've been all right. So yeah, Hiren, on Jordan again. Quick, I just want to ask you as well. What have you made of the story? Because it's incredible.
I think the story of Jordan and also I would say Qatar, Kazakhstan, all of this team, I think break the lot of myths around Asian football, and the countries like India needs to learn a lot of things from them, because here we only see if our players are playing in Europe, then you can compete. I think they break a lot of things in that sense. I think in cup competition particularly, I think you need you can say better as a team rather than you can say you have a individual player quality. If you see Qatar versus Iran also, Iran there are a couple of players playing in the Europe, but Qatar is totally you can say their Asian side. And same goes for the you can say Jordan also. Only their one player is playing in Europe. Kazakhstan also has the same story. So I think these are the things जो यहाँ पे India को I think as a learning lesson है. Jordan changed their coach 6 months back. Qatar just before the tournament. So these are the things जो इंडियन यहाँ पे जैसे सर ने बोला कि सेल आउट करने की कोशिश हो रही है कि अभी हम कोच चेंज करेंगे तो ये हो जाएगा. अभी क्या बोलते हैं हमारे प्लेयर यूरोप में नहीं खेल रहे थे इसलिए हमारा परफॉर्मेंस ऐसा आया. ऐसा नहीं है भाई. आपके प्लेयरों के पास जो क्वालिटी थी उसका भी वहां पे यूटिलाइजेशन या फिर वो यहाँ पे आप शोकेस नहीं कर पा रहे हो एज ए टीम। एंड कप कंपटीशन में जो आप देखिए कि
But
हमने कितनी बार
Hiren, two things I have to say. At least in the Jordan squad, a number of players are playing in better leagues across Asia, right? And the Qatar Stars League is one of the best league in Asia. So for
Okay.
our players to play ISL, the ISL cannot compete with the top leagues in Asia.
But sir, I am not expecting कि India to go into the semi-final or quarter final. I just expect कि India के जो परफॉर्मेंस आई है इतने भी बुरे हमारे प्लेयर नहीं है, मतलब जो उन्होंने परफॉर्मेंस दी एज ए टीम, अगर उन्होंने खेला होता तो आई थिंक इससे तो बेटर एटलीस्ट परफॉर्मेंस आती। मैं नहीं बोल रहा कि राउंड ऑफ 16 में आप चले जाओ, बट इससे तो बेटर जो आप 0 गोल स्कोर किए, 0 पॉइंट अर्न किए कंप्लीटली, आप क्या बोलते कि स्कूल के एक सामने एक क्या बोलते कि प्रोफेशनल टीम खेल रहे हो और आप सामने स्कूल की टीम उतारे हो, ऐसा लग रहा था। तो दैट वुड बी नॉट द केस इफ यू प्ले एज अ टीम। जो भी आपका पोटेंशियल है, मैं वो ये नहीं बोल रहा कि आपके प्लेयर की क्वालिटी इतनी आई है, लेकिन जो भी क्वालिटी थी उस हिसाब से भी आप नहीं खेल पा रहे हैं।
Yep. And on the other side, you've got Qatar guys. Anwar,
Qatar is a Akram Afif.
Akram
I think in last Asian Cup he and Almoz is around I think 21, 22. So they got a, you can see, really good experience in these last 4 5 years, and now they are leading the team, and that should be the, you can see, always a case for any team or any country to in terms of the teams progress. So I think that's a great to see. They are leading their attack, and Al Hedos coming up as a, you can say, substitution and making that difference. So they have a very good mix up of, you can say, experience and a young player, and Qatar playing at their home. I think would be if they win this, then back-to-back defending champion of AFC Asian Cup. That would be also incredible, you can say, thing to achieve, to win a back-to-back AFC Asian Cup. And I definitely the support will be there for them also. But I think this is also a dangerous thing because if Jordan scores first, then you will be on a lot of under pressure. That would be the incredible thing to see. So I think it. Yes,
but you saw against Iran, no? You saw against Iran early goal,
they did come back,
and they did come back, and they came back in
twice.
style. And for that, I think Qatar is that. But again, Akram Afif, to me, the best player of the tournament, whatever happens tomorrow. Akram Afif is a player who has had that European experience, right? At academy age, he spent time at Sevilla. He was with Eupen for a certain period of time, a club which is run by the Qataris in the Belgian league. So he has gotten that level of experience, of course, being an Aspire product, right? And the Qatar league has a certain standard, and therefore, I'm happy that we played Qatar in November and we're not playing Qatar now, because I don't know what the result would have been now, right? They look much sharper now in this Asian Cup than they looked in Bhubaneswar. So therefore, that will be interesting to see.
Yeah. Predictions, guys, for this?
2-0 Qatar.
2-0 Qatar. Okay. I know. I mean, story. I mean, all the way, Jordan.
That would be incredible thing to see if Jordan wins. But my prediction also kind of, you can say, 2-1 victory for Qatar. I am also expecting 2-1 or 3-1 maybe.
Hiren says a point. I think we would all love to see Jordan win.
Yeah.
But Qatar at home, and the way Qatar has played this tournament, and the thing is, the other teams have had fluctuations like this, right? Up and down, up and down. Qatar has played a constant level of football this tournament. Be it, at the opener, which they won 4-0, which again looks a lot of goals, but thereafter they've played a certain level and ensured. And again, this turnaround capabilities. So to me, so therefore, it's an interesting one. But I think that Qatar has the class. If you look at not only Akram Afif or Almoez, Haidus, the experienced captain. What a class player with that goal against China, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Qatar has been good, even though I say Iran to some extent, with a lot of their top players playing in Europe, Japan and Korea. and to some extent also the Saudis. All these teams have not been able to convince me that they are actually as good as they potentially could be, right? So that way, we have had the stories of the Jordans, of the Tajikistans, which were great. But I do realize that Qatar, to me, looks to be the favorite for this final.
Some predictions on the chat as well. Icon Alone saying 3-1 Qatar. Pindrop saying 2-1 to Jordan. So it's nice to see that we've got comments going both ways. And in many ways, I don't think it was a tournament that I at least expected. I thought it would be. It wasn't the tournaments for the Son Heung-mins, or you look at Iran, who got Mehdi Taremi, all these big European players. At the end of the day, yeah, it wasn't that tournament, and it's nice to see the story, and hopefully Jordan can go all the way and win this one as well. SAFF Under-19 guys, what's going on? What is the situation after one day of that crazy incident?
I think it's a dry down, to be honest, for me though.
Okay.
I think fans also, I checked out the social media after yesterday. That was you can say more reaction. Today I don't see that much reaction from the, you can say, fans in that match. If it was a senior match, then I think will be a lot of talk. But I think still there is in media, there is in particular, I checked out in Bangladesh, there was a talk, obviously, regarding this, and that was a funny incident, or funny, or you can say blunder, whatever you say. But really, really crazy thing, to be honest. The crazy thing is that after the match, that 2 hours it will take to decide them, you can say, joint winner. So there was that was the, you can say, more you can say drama. So I think it's okay now, but I think the talk should be more about the footballing part. But unfortunately, this drama is, you can say, take away all the attention. So I think that's the, you can say, disappointing part for us, to be honest.
Yeah, Shaggy saying they made the same decision, which is what Arnav, you were also saying that should be joint winners. But what was going on in that 2 hour gap? What was happening? What happened between? Do we know what happened between the moment the Indian team walked off and finally them deciding that it'll be joint winners?
From my understanding, it would be, again, without knowing what happened, I think the first thing is that the Bangladeshis will have tried to search for the rule book and say, where are the regulations of how to finish this? And then they, they most probably found the current SAFF tournament regulations and said, listen, my friend, whatever you're saying is wrong. So then they told the girls, just sit in there. India might have to return. This is not over yet, which is a weird one because I would have allowed. Is it better to sit outside or maybe sit in the dressing room? I don't know. Again, this is warm weather conditions, so maybe it didn't make sense. And then it most probably started with, first of all, the match commissioner, then the venue operations guys, the people from SAFF, the people from the BFF would come together and say, listen, there are still people in the stadium. Then you have had the situation with the Indian girls, where I today in the morning, from my sense, put out a tweet where I say is, when you win, show class, show character. And if you are unable, again, it sounds bad, but that's the reality anywhere in the world. If you're unable to accept abuse and all that stuff which comes with it, don't go on a football field. Because that's the first thing. If you're playing in a stadium, that's the first thing that will happen to you. And it will happen anywhere. And I find it very bizarre that, it became racist between Indian and Bangladeshi fans on social media, where I think no one has the moral high ground in this. It happens in Bangladesh, it happens in India, it happens in, sadly, it happens in other countries as well. Now, I think the problem is that in South Asia, there is not the real understanding of what is real racism in that way. If something like this had happened in Europe, both the federations would have been in trouble in a serious way. Which UEFA, even though it's a regional competition, but UEFA would have stepped in. So in that way, I think that the Indian coaching and management staff did not handle it well, in my opinion. I feel that they should have handled it differently. That they, celebrate it, but don't do those aggressive gestures, right? I understand you are overjoyed, you've won it, all that stuff, take it. But whoever is in charge has to go out there, and explain to the girls in that moment. Look around you. There is a potential threat and a danger if you behave in that way, and that is something which I say is the most important, in that way. And meanwhile, there were conversations going on, BFF, SAFF, AFF. I know that someone from SAFF internally passed on my tweet on give it to both of them. I don't know if that was the reason why they did it. I hope not. I hope they had this idea themselves. But that was the best possible decision for this situation, because even asking India to come out and then go on and play a penalty shootout, and it doesn't matter if India had won or Bangladesh had won, it would have been unfair on the losing team, and that losing team doesn't matter if it was Bangladesh or would have been India. So therefore, this was, in this difficult situation, the best possible outcome.
Yep. Fair enough. Hiren, would you have liked to see it go some other way, or you're happy with the outcome?
To be honest, didn't care too much about that after the whole situation. I mean, it's a fine, because I don't see that much value, in terms of the trophy wise, to be honest. I think no doubt it can be encouraging whatever the thing, but I think at the youth level, I rather more focus on, you can say, the football and what are our player are capable. I think that would be my you can say the preference, rather than seeing just them to definitely trophy would be you can say give you extra motivation, whatever the thing, or you fight for that. That are the things. But I think at the youth tournaments, I want to see our players showing their you can say quality and the football, and that's give you a you can say expectation or hope whatever the upcoming players are better than current players, or the quality will be the same. So in that sense, I didn't get you can say too much high hope we will be you can say in women's football will be going that much further. So in that sense, I am just okay with that. But I think the one question is definitely there regarding that situation why the Bangladeshi for in first place agree for that coin toss. So I think that there will be also miscommunication, and that whole situation has been gotten into the worst. So I think the fair result would be they give to the both the teams. So that's the thing. But I think we need to be improve more, to be honest, and need to be focused on women's football, because there is a capability, and there is a very good chance India can do much better in women's football in upcoming years with the right focus.
Yeah. Shaggy saying first trophy in youth football after 3 years. I don't know what lies ahead for women's football, at least in India. Because sometimes even when I was watching the Asian Games, some promising signs, but there's something lacking to get everything together. What do you think lies ahead for women's football?
I think they need to create the structure in the women's game that we have in the boys' game. Again, and in the boys' game, the structure is not perfect. It might be a little too hard or too brutal, but that match was really difficult to watch yesterday. For a final, and the atmosphere was great. The Bangladeshis were creating an incredible atmosphere for an under-19 women's final. I don't know how many people would have come in India for such a game. So I give credit to the fans in Dhaka for turning up in those big numbers. But I thought there was a lack of quality in that game, especially in that shootout. I mean, the goalkeepers. I don't know if they were too short and not getting into the corners, and the penalties were not the best. a decent amateur goalkeeper would have most probably saved most of the penalties in the women's game. I'm not even talking in the men's game. So from that perspective, I would be concerned because I want India to try and get to the Women's World Cup. I thought in 2022 when we were eliminated because of COVID, which is a story in itself, that we were very close. We were hosting the Asian Cup. I thought we could qualify for Australia, New Zealand 2023 for the World Cup. Right?
Yep. Expectation that they could probably get it done next time around, or are we still quite far away?
I think we are further away today than we were 2 years ago. That's my concern. I see the shift also now in the IWL. As in the men's game, you're getting the foreigners, and the foreigners are supposed to sort you out. And the sad part is that even players from Nepal and Bangladesh are becoming key players in their respective teams. The mistakes we've done in the men's game. And this is what I also say generally in world football in the women's game. The women are saying, listen, we are different in our football, but you're actually making the same mistake that the men's game has done over the last 20, 30 years. And okay, Shaggy, they didn't release the best players. I'm fine with that. But if that is the B batch of the Indian under-19 women's team, we need to work on the basics again, right? And to some extent, we also saw that with our men's team at the Asian Cup. We need to work on our basics. So we have a general problem. And I don't know if Shaggy or Roshan is also there, if you guys know the reason why the coach didn't make any substitutions in the 90 minutes. I mean, I rarely see, and she very rarely did any substitutions. So I don't know. Again, Shaggy, if you or Roshan maybe know, you're a little bit more in the topic. I don't know. If Hiren, do you know, or Rahul, do you know why she didn't? I don't know.
नहीं बिल्कुल और the players are coming with you can say कि 4 matches in 8 days. So you are continuously, if you see Shivani, Devi, Neha, and all of that, they are playing regularly. They are not just not like in between they get a rest. They play all the matches. And clearly it's visible. मैंने बोला ना कि this was India's match, चाहे कैसी भी quality हो, but this was India's match कि जहाँ पे आपने 1-0 से easily मैच को आप निकाल सकते थे. And those last minute में अगर आपने थोड़ा सा game awareness होता आपके पास, then you usually could have passed that 4 injury minute without a doubt. Because player clearly looked tired. In just before that goal, there was one incident also that our players looks you can beat by the Bangladeshi player.
You guys think a foreign coach will help in the youth setup?
I think if you bring in someone like a Thomas Denemy with, again, someone like that, of that stature, with that experience in whichever country, who doesn't have a problem to also work with the juniors, I mean, again, you don't have enough to do with the Indian senior women's team, so he can go down and work with the juniors, because otherwise we're just switching around the coaches who used to be there. I mean, it's Priya, it's Shukla was now there, and then Chauba is there with the national team, and they've been there now for donkey's years, right? To me, again, even if we can get Thomas Deneby back, I would try and get him back. The girls, the ones which I know, they just love him. They say, listen, we've learned I remember some of them saying we learned in 6 months more than we've learned in 5 years or 10 years in the national team. So therefore, to me, I don't know why he was let go. Some people said that the cycle is over. Again, it's a weird one. The one which we should keep, we've sort of thrown out, and the one we should throw out, we're keeping. So sorry for that one, but that's the reality of Indian football, right? And Bangladesh is doing a lot of things right in the women's game, right? I mean, it is Sheikh Hasina herself who is pushing for these competitions, school competitions, and then trying to filter through to the youth setup, and again we've got Khatun is now at Kickstart, and the other girl is at East Bengal, already scoring goals. So yeah, that's That's the reality. So we have to be honest about it.
Yep. Yep. Hiren,
Sorry.
yeah.
So just to end the sentence before you end, we are in danger in the women's game. That we are gonna fall back behind Nepal and Bangladesh very very soon, who we normally used to boss. Even 2 years, 3 years ago, even during COVID, we used to boss them, and that's uh, um, it's crazy. And yeah, Shaggy, that's another thing. I don't know if anyone can go through and find out 22
Never seen it
every
happen.
player scoring of the penalty. I've never seen a penalty shootout like that.
The closest one that
If you
comes to
see, no,
mind
no,
is
if you see,
Manchester.
sir, the first five penalties, Bangladesh score all the right side and India score all the left side,
Yeah.
all the. So it was a clear pattern,
And on
and
the other side, I'll
there
give
was
the
not, you
referee
can
the
say, much.
credit. The
Uh,
credit is also when the Indian player missed, right? The referee actually picked up that the Bangladeshi goalkeeper had actually stepped off a line, right?
line, yes, yes.
So after that they did their gaffes, but that one they got right.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
But
No, it's just
but
coming to
I'm worried. I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried for women's football in India. Just to summarize, and I think a lot of things need to happen. And again, if you are unable to manage the men's game, it's going to be difficult. How can it be that we are not playing FIFA match days for the women in December? Why is Nepal being invited to the West Asian Football Federation tournament? Pakistan has been invited by the Saudis for a number of times. I thought wasn't we who had a good relationship with the Saudis after Santosh Trophy and letting them have the Asian Cup and all that stuff. So I think there's a lot. The AFF has a lot of things to answer, but this is something which I find, which you think, and then you're now paying a lot of money to go to Turkey to play amongst the weakest teams in Europe that are available.
Yep. Yep. Hiren, just again before we wrap up, your expectations for women's football in the years to come?
Definitely, I think the one thing well, definitely we had in women's football is the early advantage. If you see women's football all around the world, this in last 10 years, the hype is there. Otherwise, there will be, you can see, not much, and that's why we are 65 FIFA. That's why we have that early advantage. So I think if we properly focus on that thing, then in next 4 5 years we would have been you can say a really good position in top 50, top 40. I would say. So in that sense, I'm seeing we need to focus on that thing more, and I think we can create a you can say better result at that, and that early advantage can be useful. But now as sir mentioned that Bangladesh and Nepal is also catching up because we are not making that our first priority. The good step, I would say, the next season there will be a two division. So that's a little bit you can say. I would say, in terms of the professionalism wise, or you can say league wise, I think that's a good decision. But I think the lower level, or you can say youth level, there needs to be a much more you can say planning and the exposure matches and everything would be there. Then definitely we can create some good result and maybe see our women's team first in the World Cup before the men's.
Yep. Yep. Awesome. I hope the future is bright for Indian women's football, and hope I mean, sort of not make the same mistakes that we did in the men's game. But yeah, guys, two ISL games tomorrow, important ones as well for the top of the table and for the middle of the pack. It's going to be interesting, going to be fun. And we'll be back to discuss it. Please like and share these videos, and of course, subscribe to the channel Sports Khabri, Curious Harry, and Arun Foot. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.